President Trump kicked off his second term with a flurry of executive orders during his first hours in office. The far-reaching actions address immigration, the future of TikTok, the cost of living, and so much more.
For all the latest on all of it, we're joined now by Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce, who is there in Washington. Mary, a lot of people curious and watching to see what happens with immigration. What actions did President Trump take?
Yeah, well, guys, it is clear it is a new era here in Washington. Donald Trump is moving very quickly with a big show, really, of the power that he now holds, the use of executive power. And with immigration, of course, he promised a crackdown of immigration during the campaign, and he is moving quickly to try and fulfill those pledges. Yesterday, moving to seal the border against migrants, also ending the use of an app that had allowed migrants to make their asylum appointments. He declared a national emergency at the southern border that would allow him to send in the military if he wanted to, and also signing an executive order to end birthright citizenship, though, of course, that is protected under the 14th Amendment. No surprise here. We are already seeing legal challenges to that. And, of course, all of this comes as President Trump has promised the largest mass deportations in American history, something his border czar described as an operation that would amount to shock and awe. Guys.
All right, Mary, let's talk about TikTok. A lot of people went crazy over the weekend when it went dark for a couple of hours. More than 170 million Americans use TikTok, and the president has put in an executive order to keep it up and running for at least the next 75 days. What's next?
Yeah, lots of interest in this one, DeMarco, the new incoming president now taking action to stall the TikTok ban, signing this executive order to delay the app's ban for 75 days. Now, of course, this law has already gone into effect, but President Trump is essentially directing the attorney general not to enforce the new law. Now, there will also likely be some legal challenges to this as well. Lots of questions about whether the president, what authority he has to block existing legislation like this. So stay tuned. We know a lot of people, especially a lot of young people who want to get back to their scrolling, have a lot of interest in this one.
A lot of middle-aged people, too.
You know it.
Eva, you too.
Mary, the other thing that we saw President Trump do was he made good on that promise to the January 6th rioters, pardoning them. What is his message here?
Yeah. Well, look, this is a huge win for so many of Donald Trump's supporters. Again, something that he promised to do out on the campaign trail. But the action that he has taken here, these pardons are much more sweeping than were anticipated. And it really is, in many ways, an attempt by Donald Trump here to rewrite some history. Of course, the day after the January 6th attack, Donald Trump came out in a video and said that those who broke the law would be held accountable. Now, instead, he is really reversing any efforts to try and hold accountable those who sought to disrupt the peaceful transition of power after Trump lost the 2020 race. He has issued what really amounts to a blanket pardon for virtually everyone who was convicted or charged in the January 6th attack, even granting clemency to the hundreds of people who assaulted police officers on that day. We have talked with some of those officers, with the family also of Brian Sicknick, the officer who died after the attack, and they say that they feel betrayed by the country and by this administration. But look, there is no question that this is being celebrated by so many of Trump's supporters who do see it as a promise kept.
And Mary, on the campaign trail, there was a lot of talk of bringing the prices of eggs down and groceries as well. Any orders to address gas prices in groceries?
DeMarco, this is such a good question because, of course, we know the economy was top of mind for voters in November. And actually, our Karen Travers was there with the president last night in the Oval Office as he was signing that huge stack of executive orders on the Resolute desk. And she asked him, what was there in that pile that was going to start to bring down costs of groceries and of gas? And the president pointed to his efforts to address the energy crisis, as he describes it, his promise to drill, baby drill. The question is really, how do those efforts, what does that really do to change the price of eggs, for instance? So far, we haven't seen any real big economic initiatives. But of course, Donald Trump just getting started. There's a lot more to come. We expect even some more later today, guys.
Again, with a lot of orders on day one. Mary Bruce at the White House. Mary, thank you. Good to see you.
You too.